J.W. Henley's latest book, Migrante, is a bleak, heart-wrenching novel about the poorest of the poor, and it's an outstanding read. I'm sitting here as I write this, wondering what else to write about this book, but that's only because it's still bouncing around in my head. I finished it not half an hour ago. I suspect it will bounce around in my head for a little while. Migrante is a fictional work, but it is inspired by the true stories of Philippine migrants to Taiwan, those seeking work, better pay, better conditions than the life they're leaving behind. Instead, what most find is the opposite: slave conditions, very little, if any, money, abuse, hunger, and denigration. It's not the first work that Henley has produced on this topic. His investigations into the plight of migrant workers in Taiwan and the conditions of the poor in the Philippines are extensive, and if you go read them, they're shocking. I have put some links in the description below if you want to go and read those accounts, but warning, they are shocking accounts. So perhaps it's unsurprising that, having covered such material in his journalist life, it all bubbled over into a more extended emotional and personal story like Migrante. The book Migrante follows Rizal. Born into poverty and raised from a young age in a cemetery, a place where the poor are buried en masse, nameless and forgotten, Rizal is henpecked by his mother for being idle, though his mother wasn't the only one to do so. Rizal's former girlfriend and the mother of his child left the cemetery for a better life after Rizal was unable to provide for them. But that's not to say that Rizal doesn't want to work, doesn't want to provide for his family. He does. His circumstances just make it almost impossible for him. Jobs are beyond difficult for folks so far down the food chain. Rizal's friend Kidlat, a drug addict, sees no shame in idleness, but Rizal wants something better. It is in pursuit of this better that Rizal seeks out a migration broker. Charmed by the man's stories of the lifestyle, despite his emphasis on work, and his imagination lit up by the possibility of lifting himself out of abject poverty, Rizal signs up. He does this laboriously because he can't read. The story follows Rizal's experiences in Taiwan as a migrant fisherman. It paints vivid pictures of the lies he was told, the abuse he suffered, and his attempt to get out of a horrific situation. I won't tell you what happens. Instead, you'll go get a copy and read the book. A link to that is below. Migrante is a relatively short, fast read. And it was a risk for Henley to send me a copy of the work, to be honest. I'm fussy about the books I read, and I'm sharp when they fall flat. But by the time I was 3 chapters into this book, I was deep inside the story. Rizal is a lovable, if hopeless, character. By the end of the book, even though I had an inkling about what was to transpire, I still hoped that it wouldn't. And I feel somehow that this hope is the point of Migrante. The book tells an absolute nightmare of a story, one that is worse for being based in reality, but it's the hope within a framework of hopelessness that is truly heartbreaking. Without any substantial help, understanding, or, God forbid, policy against the slave brokers, breaking free is almost impossible. Migrante is a story of indebtedness, slavery, and struggle, but it is also the heartbreaking story of one young man's undying hope for a better future. Importantly, I have to say, if you go and get this book, that the author is donating all of his earnings from the publication to migrant worker advocacy groups in Taiwan to help further migrants fight for equal rights under the law. Migrante was released on the 16th of July 2020, and you can get it at Camphor Press. As I say, the review is below. The link to the book is below. This review was by me, Letitia Mooney. It was first published on my official website at biagadagar.com. Links are below. If you enjoyed it and you want to hear more of my reviews in future, hit subscribe, press the bell, do the thing that everyone wants you to do. And I will talk to you in my next review next time.